What's going to happen? Can you trust the Lebanese people to get their shit together? That's the main question. I don't know to say for certain we can. I want to imagine a reality where Lebanon gets rid of these terrible people destroying their country from the inside. But can we trust the Lebanese people to uphold this? Assalamu alaikum rahmanu barakatuh. I don't know how to say it yet. My Arabic's still not that good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is your Zionist prince back with another one, opening up the show with Arabic, because today we're traveling back to the Middle East, beyond the borders of Israel, to Lebanon, fi Lebanon, which means Lebanon. We are heading to talk about something crazy that's going on, which is the fact that Lebanon actually elected a president, and seemingly successfully, without destroying the entire country, seemingly. So look, there's some unsubstantiated reports coming out that it looks like Lebanon might be moving towards a new reality, maybe. I have been very, 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 very critical of the Lebanese people, their government, their society over the course of the last year, just being a disappointment after disappointment to the Middle East. I got to show you guys something. Unsubstantiated claims, all right? I can't verify this specific sentence. I looked for a few... my camera paused. Here we are, back with another one. I am saving up to get a new camera right now, so if you guys want to support, I'm trying to upgrade my setup a little bit, so especially if I start moving around a bit, we can have a better setup. If you guys want to, buy me a coffee down below, Patreon, best way to support my work. It's $500 for the new camera. I'm not going so crazy, but I just need something that'll be good and mobile. If you guys want to support, please do. This is coming from Hanania Naftali. Hanania Naftali, if you guys don't know who he is, used to be a spokesperson for Bibi Netanyahu. I'm not sure if he still does that. Worked high level at the government in with Israel doing media stuff. I've actually been an associate or acquaintance with him since I started making YouTube videos. I remember when he had like 10,000 subs. You know, we used to chat back in the day. This is like 10 years ago when I was doing like Israel travel vlogs. He put out an Instagram post that said, Lebanon's new president, Joseph Aoun, a Maronite Christian, which is a big development, we'll talk about it in a bit, says the era of Hezbollah is over. The Lebanese people have suffered long enough under this terrorist group. I hope that this will lead to a real change in Lebanon. I have not been able to find this quote. I don't know if the quote was said in Arabic and then mistranslated. It seems like kind of a radical quote to say, if I'm being completely honest, considering Hezbollah is still taking seats in the Lebanese parliament, to my knowledge, and the fact that Israel was striking southern Lebanon last night. As I was sitting in bed, we were getting updates that this was like almost at 1 a.m. of strikes going on in southern Lebanon because Hezbollah was still rearming. And we know that they've been on a crusade of continuing to rearm. So this is a quote, Lebanon's new president, the era of Hezbollah is over. I don't know if this is true. We've got some other things to look at here. This is the sort of swearing in ceremony. So you can see him say that I think he's congratulating El-Rais, which means the president, the new president. Joseph Aoun, he says his name right there.
Lebanon's parliament elected army chief Joseph Aoun as the country's new president on Thursday. The move elevates a general who enjoys U.S. approval and underscores the diminished sway of the Iran-backed Hezbollah group following more than a year of devastating war with Israel. And it reflects a broader shift in the balance of power, not just within Lebanon, but across the wider Middle East, where Tehran has seen its allies dwindle, including...
So this is obviously the most interesting part. We've talked about this a lot on the channel recently, the dwindling support of the Islamic regime of Iran, who is, as you know, if this is your first time coming across my channel, the head of the octopus, sort of leading out to all the different proxies trying to control different Muslim factions in the Middle East.
Last month's toppling of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Lebanon's presidency is reserved for a Maronite Christian in the country's sectarian power-sharing system.
So if you guys don't know as well, Lebanon, for those of you guys who are really new to Middle East geopolitics and understanding society in the Middle East, it may seem to you like Lebanon is an Arab Muslim country like all the others because that's what it sort of puts out on its face today. But Lebanon's actually much deeper. If we talk about what Lebanon was historically, Lebanon was known as the place of the Phoenician people. The tree on the Lebanese flag that I believe it is a cypress tree. Is it a cypress tree? Maybe it's a spruce tree and I'm getting it mixed up. Don't quote me on I'm not arboreally knowledged. That's good, arboreally knowledged. Biblically, Am Yisrael, the nation of Israel, actually used to work with the king of Lebanon, based in Tyre, very frequently. And actually, a lot of the wood used for the Beit HaMikdash, for Beit al-Maqdis, for my Arabis, or the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, the Holy Temple of the Israelites in Jerusalem, a lot of the wood was used from a partnership between the Lebanese people, the Phoenicians back then, and the Israelites and the Judeans. And so a lot of that wood to build that temple was brought in from Lebanon, because at some point, northern Lebanon and central Lebanon was also kind of an extension of Israel. The borders have always varied, more or less. Never a Palestine, but yes, an Israel and a Phoenician state. Lebanon did exist at a certain point. Lebanon is quoted multiple times in the Hebrew Bible. Lebanon is a word that we use in the Hebrew Bible multiple times. We have prayers, we have songs about it. So just as historical makeup, when Christianity started spreading through the Middle East and through the Levant, Lebanon became a predominantly Christian state, predominantly Christian and Jewish. Through colonization of Arab conquest, eventually Islam entered the region, and so did Arabism. And so they shifted from Phoenician culture into an Arabic culture. But Lebanon has always been considered the least Arab of the Arab world. They're always considered sort of the Europeans of the Arab world, and nobody ever really considers them as true Arabs. Even themselves, they don't consider themselves true Arabs. The advent of Shia Islam that has kind of destroyed the state from the inside out and has now made Lebanon a minority Christian country and a majority Muslim country, has actually destroyed the country from the inside, using Hezbollah, the faction that is now being controlled by the Islamic regime of Iran, to basically destroy the foundations of what the country stands for, which is this more open-minded, liberal mentality. Can I say in Beirut that still exists? Absolutely. And I have friends in Beirut that I've been talking to, I've been communicating with people, some crazy conversations you would never imagine a Jew from Israel being able to communicate with Lebanese people in this manner. But that being said, very liberal, very open-minded, partying, drugs, everything you could imagine in Beirut still going on till this day. When it comes to the south of Lebanon, that is the part that's almost fully controlled by Shia Islam, radical jihadist Shia Islam. You'll find Palestinian kafiyas like this in houses, and donation boxes with Al-Aqsa Mosque on them, with the face of Nasrallah, and sort of these zombie, brain-rotted people who have been brainwashed in the same way that the people in Gaza and the West Bank have been, in Judea and Samaria have been brainwashed, unfortunately. That's not a thumbs up. I don't mean that. I don't know why that's happening. So anyways, let's get back into the video for a second.
Deeply divided factions have meant the post has been vacant since 2022. Ayoun has been commander of the U.S.-backed Lebanese Army since 2017.
Okay, something else I need to explain. You heard him say the Lebanese Army. If you don't know the makeup of Lebanon, you have the Lebanese Army, and then you have Hezbollah. Okay, Hezbollah is the terrorist group, which is a Shia-backed Islamic regime of Iran proxy now. Okay, it's being funded by Iran, by the Islamic regime of Iran, not the Iranian people. Islamic regime of Iran, to wage terrorism in the Middle East. They have proxies both in Syria and in Iraq. And now that Syria has fallen, they don't really have any power there. That most of their branches now are in Iraq and in Lebanon. That is different from the Lebanese army. The Lebanese army is supposed to be under the Lebanese government, which pretty much hasn't existed. Hezbollah has kind of been the de facto government of this country for the last 2 years. Or actually, for way longer than that, but for 2 years with a strong hold on the people. And Israel kind of just liberated them of that. The job is not done, and that's the sentiment I've heard from Lebanese people on the inside. The job's not done yet, but we're definitely progressing towards a reality where Israel is semi-liberating the Lebanese people, which is very, very interesting. Okay? Now, that's just something really important to keep in mind. Two different parties. Lebanese army was supposed to be doing the job of protecting Lebanon, protecting the people, kicking out Hezbollah, and they never did it. Now, Israel sort of slapped them in the face and said, get your shit together, start doing the work properly. There's been some agreements mediated by the U.S., and we're hoping that we can trust the Lebanese people to do their part of the deal. My trust isn't there. I still don't 100% trust. I don't know if I'll ever 100% trust. Clat mug, by the way, get it on the travelingclat.com. Great Clat mug. You can also get a Clat hat, travelingclat.com, if you want to rep the merch. We got graphic tees and stuff, really cool stuff. But yes, this is an important point to make. Two different groups protecting Lebanon from two different narratives. One is the Islamic narrative of colonial sort of Islamic conquest, which unfortunately a large swath of Lebanese society is now bought into. And then there's the Lebanese Army, which is the more democratic nation army that's supposed to be for the nation, not for specific religion.
On his watch, U.S. aid continued to flow to the Army, part of a long-standing U.S. policy focusing on supporting state institutions to curb Hezbollah's influence. Ayoun has a key role in shoring up a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel, which was brokered by Washington and Paris in November. Lebanon has been desperately seeking international aid following a devastating war between Israel and Hezbollah that escalated last summer and fall. That violence came on the heels of a financial collapse in 2019, which the World Bank estimates cost the country
Lebanon has been shafted pretty hard in the last couple of years.
$8.5 billion. That need and the shift in power has revived Saudi influence in the country. A source close to the Saudi royal court said U.S., French, and Saudi envoys had told Lebanon's parliament speaker that international financial aid hinged on Ayoun's election.
That's really good to know, actually, that they waged this international aid. Now, the problem is mismanagement. What's going to happen? Can you trust the Lebanese people to get their shit together? That's the main question. I don't know to say for certain we can. I want to imagine a reality where Lebanon gets rid of these terrible people destroying their country from the inside. But can we trust the Lebanese people to uphold this? I don't know. I really don't know what to say.
System of government requires the new president to convene consultations with lawmakers to nominate a Sunni Muslim prime minister to form a new cabinet.
Oh, so that's what I was going to add. So you have in Lebanon, you have the Christian population, Sunni Muslim population, Shia Muslim population. The reality is the Sunni Muslims are considered the more moderate Muslims in that country, which is funny because if you just travel down to Israel, the Sunni Muslims are the more crazy population, and we don't have any Shia Muslims here in Israel. It's majority Sunni Muslim. And the Palestinians, majority Sunni Muslim, are all crazy. But the Sunni Muslims in Lebanon, they don't really agree with the Sunni Muslims in Israel. So it's all a mess in the Muslim world. Anybody tells you the Muslim world is this all-powerful ummah that's operating together, that's unstoppable, yeah, definitely not. They have 50,000 different branches that are all trying to equally end each other and bring on the end of the world. Do not believe them for a moment, okay? They are the most fragmented, frail, and literally, and at this point, I would say the least powerful, at least cohesively powerful group of people on planet Earth, because they have an incapability of working together. At least Christian groups can somehow see their differences apart and kind of work together towards a common goal, or at least not try to kill each other all the time. Muslim groups are unable to do that. So in my justification, that's weakness. And then the biggest thing that they'll tell you, which I find the funniest, is every time you point out their weakness, they'll be like, it's the West. It's America and Israel that are doing this to us. It's like, no, baby. You guys have been doing this for so long before Israel was a state, okay? You've been doing this before the United States of America was a country. You guys have been murdering each other and chasing each other around and trying to destroy each other and end each other's territorial disputes for literally 1,000 years. Don't give me that BS that this is because of America and because of Israel and because of the Jews. That's what Muslims will always tell you. But no, it's because of America and because of the Jews and because of the West. No. You guys have been doing this to yourselves for a very, very long time. You don't get a shortcut out now because you like to blame America for all of your personal shortcomings. Okay, let's get into a little quick article here. And this is the last thing we're just going to look at. Sorry, I'm blabbing about today a lot because I'm very passionate about Lebanon. Only in the sense that I want to have peace with them, because I don't see the violence between us as it's not necessary. Lebanon is not really, they don't pose any sort of danger to us, and it would just be a lot more convenient if we had access to be able to do trade between each other. It would be fruitful for Lebanese society and for Israeli society. It'd be great for the two of us. And I think a lot of Lebanese people sort of get it, and they're more Israeli in their mentality than they are Arab, I would say. And so I can give a lot of praise to Lebanese people for who they are. I just think they've been very weak-minded and sort of weak. Their backs have been very weak over the course of the last decade or so, even longer than that. Weakening of Hezbollah enabled Lebanon to fill a 2-year-old presidential vacancy. Joseph Aoun is the first president since 1990 not to be pre-approved by Tehran and Damascus, signaling an end to the Iran-backed terror group's control of Lebanese politics. I want you guys to know that the Islamic regime of Iran is shitting themselves. They are freaking out at this prospect. Oh, another thing I didn't add, by the way. Yes, there are those parties. in the Lebanese parliament, in their governance, there has to be a minority Christian elected as president. There has to be a Sunni Muslim elected as prime minister, and I believe a Shia Muslim elected as something else. Because the majority of the country is now Shia, you have to elect these minorities as their governance, which is really interesting. I actually kind of agree with that. I think that's really cool. The weakening of Hezbollah, I mean, at least in a society dominated by Shia Muslims, because you can't trust them in this particular region to uphold their shit, you know? The weakening of Hezbollah in last year's war in Israel allowed Lebanon's long deadlocked parliament to reach a consensus around a president who has the confidence of the international community. Lebanese Armed Forces Chief Joseph Aoun, who was elected on Thursday, ending a more than 2-year vacancy, signaled a readjustment of Lebanon's foreign policy as the country works with international creditors to forge a way out of 6 years of deepening financial crisis. Let me tell you something right now. If Lebanon upholds to this, okay, there is so much promise here right now. Lebanon already has sort of a good reputation within the Western world for Arabs. I wouldn't call them real Arabs, by the way. They're Arabized, but not real Arabs. Nobody considers them real Arabs, including themselves. Arabized people, but let's say for the colloquial term, Arabs. They already have a good reputation of being more Western and more productive. If Lebanese people do their job and actually stick to this, there is a very, very real chance under Trump presidency, the returning of the Abraham Accords, peace with Saudi, Lebanon is next on the map. Joseph Aoun so far has not said anything about Israel other than trying to mediate a ceasefire. From what I've understood, he doesn't have a reputation of being at least openly anti-Semitic. And, you know, he's a Christian, so he wouldn't necessarily really have a reason for that. There's a very, 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 very good chance you'll see the traveling clad in Lebanon in the coming years. There's a very good chance. The second those borders are open, I'm there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in Beirut doing a food tour for you guys, explaining the inside out, hanging out with cool, dope Lebanese people. Trust me, I'm there. But there's a lot to be seen. I mean, it's going to take a lot from the Lebanese people to not screw this up. That's my mindset on it, at least. That's my point of view. Deadlock in parliament between pro and anti-Hezbollah blocs had stalemated a dozen previous attempts to elect a president, leaving the country largely rudderless in its efforts to secure an emergency bailout. But 2 months of full-fledged war with Israel last autumn dealt heavy blows to the Iran-backed terror group, whose longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah ibn Sharmuta, was killed in an Israeli airstrike on Beirut in September. And while you have people on Twitter like Jackson Hinkle and all these grifters towards pro-Hezbollah. Probably Candace Owens dabbles in that sometimes too. Actually, I don't know. Candace Owens just kind of hates Jews, but she doesn't. I don't know if she's like pro-Hezbollah. You have them sort of coping with the fact that Nasrallah is no longer with us and still coming up with all these theories about, oh, he's hidden underground and he escaped safely and Assad is a powerful leader. It's like, all right, you guys are losing, and this is what a loser looks like. You start freaking out. Hezbollah also lost a strategic ally last month when Islamist-led rebels ousted longtime Syrian ruler Bashar al-Assad, another fixture of Iran's axis of resistance, network of regional proxies bent on Israel's destruction. So look, there's no more point in really digging it too much deeper into this article. Really exciting news on the horizon. Cannot verify Hanania Naftali's statement about saying the era of Hezbollah is over. It sounds crazy to me for Joseph to actually say that openly while kind of still being under direct threat of Hezbollah. They can hurt him, you know, and a lot of theories from inside of Lebanon are saying we're not confirmed that this is over. Again, it's going to take a lot from the Lebanese people to step up to the plate to do the right thing, and to stand up for their country. It's to be seen right now whether they will or will not do that. We don't know. We really don't know. Regardless, I'm very excited to see what develops. We're entering a new age. We are seven days away from inauguration with Donald Trump. There's talks about ceasefires. The ceasefire in Lebanon is supposed to be relinquished soon. There's talks about a hostage exchange. There's a lot of exciting things on the table, and maybe with a lot of hope from a lot of us peace-seeking people in the Middle East, an era of peace and strength in the Middle East coming soon, hopefully. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of exciting stuff on my end that I'm planning. I need a budget. I need your support. It's the only way that I can do this stuff. Please consider joining my Patreon to further my work. Please consider dropping me buy me a coffee specifically on this video. I need $500. I'm trying to buy a camera on Amazon and get it shipped here to Israel so I can upgrade the setup of these streams. And if I start traveling, I could actually do this on the road and still maintain high quality in a very compact camera. It'll mean a lot to me if you guys consider helping me raise that $500 to buy this camera. I'm not going to do like an official GoFundMe or anything like that. It's just if y'all want to drop me a few bucks, buy me a coffee, and it'll add up, and I'll front the rest as I always do. I would really, really, really appreciate that so much. It would mean a lot to me, guys. I love you guys long time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for supporting me and my work. See you in the next one. Goodbye, Colats.
If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to monetarily support the channel. Some of the best ways to support me happen to be PayPal, buy me a coffee, or joining our Patreon community. Links to them can be found in the pinned comments or the description of every one of my videos. Joining my Patreon community gives you access to exclusive content and the chance to talk to me on our Discord server. I also go live almost every day here on YouTube. And after my live streams, me and my patrons from Patreon head over to our Discord server to an exclusive after-party hangout. Your support is the only way that I can keep creating the content that you love watching for me. Thank you.